Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a really fascinating Hollywood what-if. This comes straight from a recent piece looking into the archives. Our mission for you today is to figure out why two huge stars, Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, almost teamed up for Ford v. Ferrari, but didn't. What really happened that?
Yeah, it's a classic Hollywood story in some ways, creative differences and all that. But there's a bit of a twist here. And it actually says a lot about what drives these, top-tier actors. We're going to trace that near miss and see how their choices kind of shaped the final movie we got.
Okay, let's get right into it then. So picture this. It's about, 10 years before the Ford v. Ferrari that James Mangold made?
That's right, yeah, a whole decade earlier.
And there's this other version brewing. Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, attached to star. An earlier director, the article just calls him Joe. Seems like a sure thing, right?
Absolutely. And it wasn't just like a vague interest. They knew exactly who they wanted to play. Cruise was apparently set on playing Carroll Shelby, the legendary designer. And Pitt. He was looking at Ken Miles, the British driver. The fiery one.
Wow. On paper, that sounds amazing for a racing movie.
I mean, Pitt and Cruise.
Totally. You can imagine the buzz in Hollywood back then. It must have been huge.
So if it looked so perfect, the casting seemed spot on. What went wrong? You'd guess maybe scheduling or budget stuff. The usual headaches.
Right. That's what you'd think.
But the reason the article gives, it's pretty unexpected.
It really is not the typical Hollywood drama at all. The surprising thing, the real kicker, it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about prestige or billing or anything like that. It came down to something, really specific. They both wanted to drive in the movie.
Wait, They wanted to get behind the wheel, that was it?
Pretty much. Tom Cruise specifically realized that his character, Carroll Shelby, Shelby was mostly the engineer, the team manager. He wouldn't actually be doing a lot of the hardcore racing himself in the story.
Right.
And apparently that was the deal breaker for him. That's kind of wild. For actors that big, who can basically pick their projects, they couldn't make it work. Or is this maybe about something else? Like, for actors at that level, the creative part, especially the physical stuff, matters more than even a huge movie.
I think that's exactly the question this story brings up, isn't it? For guys like Cruise and Pitt, it's not just about saying lines. It's about the whole physical embodiment. Cruise especially. I mean, we all know he's famous for doing his own stunts, right?
Right. The Mission Impossible stuff is legendary.
Exactly. So a role like Shelby, crucial as he was, maybe just didn't offer that really intense physical engagement he looks for. It kind of shines a light on how much control actors like that have now. They're not just actors for hire. They're shaping their whole screen persona, really invested in what their characters do.
Okay, so they step away. But the film still gets made eventually, and it does really well.
It sure did. Christian Bale came in as Ken Miles. Matt Damon played Carroll Shelby. James Mangold directed. And yeah, it was a big hit. Critically acclaimed. Audiences loved it. Which makes this whole what if with Pitt and Cruise even more interesting to think about.
And this whole near-miss thing.
Yeah.
It makes you think about their history. They have actually worked together before, haven't they?
They have, yeah. Way back in '94, Neil Jordan's Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, right. Wow, that was a while ago.
It was. So them working together again isn't totally out of the blue, but it really shows that for it to happen, everything has to line up just right, creatively speaking.
And speaking of working together again, Brad Pitt had that funny comment recently about it, didn't he?
He did, joking about Tom Cruise, saying he wouldn't hang my ass off airplanes.
Yeah.
And that he'd only think about it when he does something again that's on the ground.
It's funny, but it kind of nails that point again, doesn't it? About the kind of physical roles they each lean towards.
It absolutely does. And it's interesting, too, because Pitt just did another racing movie himself, right? F1, playing Sonny Hayes.
That's true.
So, Cruise wanted to drive in Ford v. Ferrari, Pitt choosing to be in the car as a driver in F1. It's that same pull, isn't it? That desire for the immersive physical experience, it reinforces their own brands.
So what's the bigger takeaway here for us, the audience? It's more than just a cool bit of Hollywood trivia, isn't it?
I think so. If you zoom out a bit, this story really underscores how important personal vision is for artists. Those really specific creative needs can sometimes override what looks like a guaranteed blockbuster pairing on paper. It just makes you wonder, how many other big movies were almost completely different because an actor had a very particular idea about their role, maybe something non-negotiable. It shows that even at the absolute top, things like artistic integrity, that personal connection to the physical side of a role, that stuff really matters.
Yeah, definitely. So maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. Has there ever been a time when some seemingly small detail in a project or maybe an opportunity turned out to be the absolute deal breaker for you, something that made you change course on a big decision. And how might things look now if you hadn't stuck to that? Something to chew on until our next deep dive.